Hi, my name is Richard Hyland, that's Hyland, with Chief Home Inspections. You can find me at chiefhomeinspections.com.
How long have you been a home inspector?
10 years. And before that I was in construction, union carpenter, and have done all the phases of repair and replacement that you'd find in your home. So I have the experience as well as the training. A lot of people ask, why should I get a home inspection for a home that I walked in and it's really nice and it looks good to me, and my friend who is a handyman said it's really a nice home and he doesn't see any problems with it. The reason why you should get a home inspection, even though you don't see anything that you think is an issue, there probably are issues. There are minor issues and major issues, and all issues cost you money. And you need a trained home inspector, one with experience and the proper training, to identify those things that are not relatively apparent to most people. Even contractors or code officials, they miss all of the things that home inspectors are trained to find. And those things that we do find will cost you money should you close on the home before it's fixed, or at least you know what you need to repair should you desire to repair it. Some of the things may be minor issues which you can repair over time, and the other things will be major issues which your home inspector will identify to you concerning those things. When looking for a home inspector, what do I do? What should I do? The best thing is look for someone who belongs to one of the home associations, home inspector associations, like InterNACHI or one of the others. Also, they must be licensed. Part of the license requirement for a home inspector is that they must present his license to you before the inspection, before the contract is signed. Also, a disclosure of the scope of the inspections and the exemptions of the inspections. Those things that are included and not included, you must know beforehand, before you get into the inspection. But when you're looking, you want to find the person who is licensed, first of all, who belongs to an association, and then look at experience. Look at what kind of experience they have, how long they have been a home inspector. And also you can always go to check their credentials out by going to Better Business Bureau if there's any complaints about them anywhere. Also, referrals are good too from your neighbors who had a home inspection. That would be good also. When you're getting a list from your realtor, they normally provide you with a list, or they'll tell you, this is the person that I use. The question I would ask after receiving the list is, which one of these people or companies would you use to inspect your home? If the realtor will use that person to inspect their home, then more than likely you're going to get a quality home inspection. And all home inspectors are not the same. Cost-wise, it's like anything else. Experience costs more. If you want an experienced person working on anything, you're going to have to pay a bit more money for it. The less the home inspection is, the more likelihood they don't have the experience. Possibly they're just part-time, or maybe they just got into the home inspection business. So that's another thing. HUD says that a home inspection typically runs from $300 to $500. Now you got to figure the area and other costs as well. If you're getting one for $200, that person doesn't have the experience, or they're trying to do a lot of home inspections to make up for their profit. And so you're not going to get due diligence and time and energy in your inspection. So that's why, another reason you should be there, if at all possible, at the inspection. Be there, let the inspector do their inspection, ask questions. If you see anything at all, ask a question, and have the inspector point out things that you're not familiar with. They should be able to articulate every aspect of the inspection and the degree of deficiency, but you won't know that, I guess, until you meet them. So that's the best thing to do then would be talk to them on the phone. If you call them up and get an answering service or a busy signal, don't worry about it. Call them back. Most of them will be willing to return your call in the evening or at a convenient time for you, when neither one of you are pressed for time, so that you can discuss the issues that are important to you and see what their scope and exclusions of their inspections entail.
Richard, how many inspections in the last month, 2 months, 6 months do you think the average inspector should have done?
I don't know if you can go by how many they have done. I don't know if that's the way to tell, because if you're going to get an inspector who does one home inspection a day and not try to fit in others, then that limits the amount of home inspections they do. The home inspector you want is the one who doesn't have their plate filled, because then if they come across anything, they can take the necessary time to look at it further and explain to you and get a feel for what the issue is all about, without having to say, I got to get to this other inspection.
How long do you think an inspection should take?
An inspection, at least a minimum of 3 hours. Give and take on the home, and the age of the home. An older home, there's a lot more entailed, more opportunities for issues to be present than let's say, a newer home. But they all have the same components, and they all should be tested. Now, it goes with the efficiency, too, of the home inspector. For instance, I have my little tool pouch on. I don't have to walk back to my tool bag to get a tester. I have everything I need, so my inspections are very thorough, but they're very comprehensive, and I get everything in that room at one shot instead of walking back and forth. If your inspector shows up with a white shirt and a tie on, send him home, because he's not ready to work. We're professionals, but we get down and dirty. We go into the attic. We crawl around underneath the house, if there is anything like that. We're moving around, we're bending, we're sticking our hands in places where most people don't want to stick their hands, and things of that nature. So there's a lot of issues that you need to decipher, and you are capable of doing that. Just talk to them, see how they communicate to you, get the feeling for what they're saying, if you can trust them, and particularly if your real estate agent will have their home inspected by them, then that's a pretty good indication of their ability, their experience, and their thoroughness. All in home inspections aren't the same. Watch out for contractors who are supposed to know everything. Actually, they're not home inspectors. They know how to build, but they don't know how to inspect. If they knew how to inspect, then the county wouldn't have to come behind them and inspect everything that they do. It's a different field, completely different discipline. You want a licensed home inspector who belongs to one of the associations. That means that he stays up with continuous education. They go to seminars, probably quarterly meetings where they're constantly refining their trade.
Richard, are you qualified to inspect for Chinese drywall? That's a question I get quite often from people.
There is no quote qualification to do that. Of course, people are out there selling certificates and saying that they qualified you for it. A home inspector, by the nature of their profession, inspect. So we inspect for the evidence of that material in the home. And yes, I am qualified because I've taken the necessary time to educate myself on that early on when it became an issue, and have done hundreds of those. And I include that in homes such as one built after 2003. I'll even look in 2002, all the way up to 2008, because we don't know the extent of the drywall that has been released on this country. First of all, I only get on a roof when I feel it's safe. If it has too much of a pitch, or it's an older roof and it's very slippery and very dangerous, So I'm very careful at doing that. Or I'll look with it with my binoculars, which can tell a lot. It's even this new roof, not new, it's 9 years old, but it has some issues. So it's important to get your hands on, and that's why I'm talking about how the person is dressed and their attire. Are they ready to inspect in every area that they're going to view? And it's important to go on a roof, if possible, at least around the eaves with the ladder to see and get the best possible view.